Welcome to the Deep Dive with 9thwunder magazine, where we take pride in spotlighting special brands and special talents. I'm your host, Natalie Stone.
And I am your co-host, Ryan Cole. And today we're doing just that with a deep dive into young hip-hop upstart Kid Trase. That's pronounced Trace.
Right, Kid Trase.
His new song, Slatt, has been, it's been blazing the airwaves of Blaze It Up Radio.
It really has.
And it made us want to take a deep dive into exactly who Kid Trase is.
Our mission today is really to unpack the strategy behind Kid Trase's approach using the detailed reporting that was supplied to us.
Right.
We're going to try and figure out precisely why his calculated, kind of restrained momentum is turning heads.
And how he's separating himself from all that noise.
Exactly, the noise. For anyone curious about rising stars, this is a perfect study in how to build a career with real intention.
It really is. We talk all the time about artists trying to, just smash down the front door of the industry.
Yeah, being the loudest person in the room.
Exactly. But Trase he's doing something different. He's ringing the doorbell, politely.
That's a great way to put it.
It signals he's confident enough in his product that he knows eventually he'll be invited in, and on his own terms.
We're going to break down the mechanics of that confidence today.
And for anyone who wants to check out the track, you can find Slatt on the Blaze It Up Radio mainstream versus independent playlist. It's on Spotify as well.
Perfect backdrop for this whole deep dive.
For sure.
Okay, so let's unpack this. The core thing about Kid Trase, the idea that really jumped off the page for me, is that he's an artist you notice not because he's loud, but because he's so deliberate.
Deliberate, that's the word. That's the huge distinction right now.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, because that deliberate nature, that's the whole bedrock of his identity. What's so fascinating is how the analysis defines it as this intentional approach.
To what end, though?
To quietly build momentum. He's sidestepping all the usual traps we see.
Like what?
Well, there's no desperate attempt to oversell himself, no fake controversies.
And definitely no long, forced backstory right out of the gate.
Exactly. He's just letting his presence, and I think more importantly, his timing, do all the heavy lifting for him.
I kept circling the phrase, restraint is refreshing in the documents.
Oh, me too.
And that's the real so what of this whole strategy, right?
It has to be.
We're in this moment where every new talent feels like they have to drop their entire life story, flood every social media feed.
Every thought, every outfit.
Everything. And in that environment, just holding back, creating a bit of mystery, that's actually the loudest thing you can do.
It signals maturity. It signals that he understands, the scarcity of people's attention.
Right.
If we connect this to the wider industry, this restraint, it suggests he represents a newer generation of artists who get it.
They get that instant saturation just leads to
instant burnout. Exactly. They see the diminishing returns of being everywhere all at once.
But let me play devil's advocate for a second.
Yeah, go for it.
Because this all sounds great on paper, but in an industry that demands constant content, is this restraint really a calculated move? Or is it maybe just a nice way of saying he doesn't have enough material yet?
That's a fair question. It's a critical one.
Yeah.
But the messaging across the sources we have, it suggests otherwise.
How so?
Because if it was just a lack of content or, say, budget, the rollout would probably feel inconsistent. A flash here, then total silence there.
And that's not what we're seeing.
No.
Yeah.
Instead, we see this highly controlled, phased approach. The restraint is obvious, not just in what he's releasing, but in the way he talks about it.
So it's confidence, not anxiety.
Precisely. An artist who is worried releases everything they have. An artist with a plan.
Yeah.
They conserve, they curate.
And what about the actual sound itself? Because the way his music is described is just as measured.
Yeah, it is.
The material says his tracks have confidence and hunger, which, okay, we expect that.
Yeah.
But it's wrapped in atmosphere, not theatrics. That phrase really stuck with me.
Wrapped in atmosphere.
Yeah.
I love that. It means he's not trying to grab you by the throat,
He's letting the records breathe.
Yes, letting them fill the room. He's making you, the listener, lean in to discover the texture instead of just ramming a hook down your throat.
It's an invitation.
It's an invitation, and that's what makes him different. This measured approach. This is what separates him from artists who rush to define themselves way too early.
Which brings us to the structure behind this whole thing. This rollout, it feels so intentional.
Incredibly so.
And part of that, I think, comes from his roots. Where does the analysis place him geographically?
So the initial write-up has him coming out of South Florida, specifically the Delray Beach area.
Okay, South Florida.
And that's more than just a pin on a map. South Florida is, it's a hyper-competitive hub. Miami, Broward County.
Hmm.
They dominate.
So Delray is a little outside that main epicenter.
Exactly. And that gives him a unique position. He gets the credibility and the sound of the region, but without being immediately swallowed by the big city machine.
He built his foundation away from the noise. It fits the strategy perfectly.
It really does.
Now, the next bit of data that surprised me was the professional move he made, the recent signing with management.
Right.
Because a lot of times when you see an artist sign with a manager, it can look like desperation, a last-ditch effort.
A plea for help, yeah. But according to this detailed analysis, that is absolutely not the vibe here.
So what is it then?
This signing, it signals structure. It signals focus. We'd categorize it as a really calculated step forward because it seems like he waited.
He waited for what?
Waited until his own momentum, his sound, was strong enough to need that professional scaffolding. He didn't chase a manager because he couldn't get buzz himself.
The move itself shows confidence in his own direction.
Totally.
So let's pull back the curtain on that scaffolding. Why does a management structure matter to the listener who just wants a good song?
Because in today's music business, that structure is what turns creative work into a durable asset. It protects the art long term.
So it's not just about booking shows.
Oh, not at all. At this stage, management is securing publishing rights, clearing the paths for future projects, setting up digital assets.
All the boring but essential stuff.
All of it.
Yeah.
And making sure he has the legal foundation to sustain, say, a 2-year runway. It's not about the next 3 weeks, it's about the next 3 years.
So the signing is proof. It proves the intentionality we were just talking about isn't just an aesthetic choice, it's a business decision.
Exactly. It connects the intent to the action. It reinforces that feeling that the music, even in its quietness, knows where it's headed.
They're not worried about breaking into the market tomorrow.
No, they're making sure that when the market does open up for them, the infrastructure can handle the scale.
Okay, so let's move to the single itself. Slatt.
Yeah, let's get into it.
It's the promotional track. It's the entry point on Blaze It Up Radio. Given this whole calculated rollout, this song can't possibly be telling the whole story.
No, and it's not supposed to.
So what is its job? What, according to this reporting, is its strategic function?
The brilliance of the single, as it's interpreted here, is that it's not a biography. It's not trying to explain the whole artist in one song.
It's tactical.
Purely tactical. Its job is to introduce energy, tone, and direction. Period.
And before we go deeper, we should probably clarify some of that jargon for listeners. The word slat.
Oh, yeah, good call.
It's a phrase you hear a lot in trap associated with Young Thug. What does it signify? Why is that choice important?
It's a really crucial piece of the puzzle. Slatt is slang, an acronym often for slime love all the time.
Yeah.
It's a term of affiliation, loyalty.
Within a certain sound.
Within a specific sonic and cultural world. By calling his lead single Slatt, he's immediately, without saying a word, telling you what lane he's in.
It's a shortcut.
A very specific tactical tool. It tells you, this is the kind of sound I make, without a whole press release.
And the words used to describe the track are so direct, raw, direct, unapologetic.
Right.
Those 3 words, just. They give you enough to spark curiosity, but they don't give away the whole picture.
It's an appetizer. And it's designed to prove he's competent in one key area. If he came out with some huge, overproduced pop song,
It would contradict the whole narrative.
it would completely undermine the atmosphere we talked about. Raw and direct signal authenticity.
And that has to be consistent across everything, which brings us to the visual side of things.
Mm-hmm.
We saw in the notes that there are plans for a music video.
Right, and that visual identity has to be viewed through the exact same lens of restraint.
So what are you expecting?
The expectation, based on the strategy, is that the video will match the audio. Clean, focused, high def, purposeful.
Not a chaotic, multi-million-dollar mess.
God, no. That would undermine everything they've built. The visual has to reinforce the confidence, the professional structure. It's about signaling quality and direction, not just flash.
This sounds less like a debut and more like a carefully managed portfolio release.
That's a great way to put it. They're building trust with you, the listener. Trust that every single move is intentional.
This level of planning, it really suggests a very long timeline.
It does.
If he's being this careful with one single and one video, he has to be playing for something way bigger than a seasonal hit.
And that's the ultimate conclusion for the magazine piece. This is where it gets really interesting.
Go on.
The original projects, they're slated for early 2026.
2026.
2 years from now, almost. We're analyzing this artist now, based on this one single, and his full projects are that far out. That is the definition of playing the long game.
Wow. Patience as a power move. That phrase is definitely the core of this whole thing, but we have to talk about the risk.
Huge risk.
In this attention economy, what are the dangers of a rollout that long? Doesn't he risk just being forgotten?
That's the gamble, absolutely. The risk is immense. You could lose momentum. The whole sound of the industry could change under your feet.
Where the single just fizzles out.
Right. But the strategy tries to mitigate that risk with quality and structure. By locking in management now, they keep the foundation strong. The goal isn't to be everywhere. It's to be consistently present.
To make the single last longer?
Exactly. Let it really penetrate the culture and establish his atmosphere.
It really changes the whole psychology of the release, doesn't it?
It does. His rollout suggests pure confidence in the body of work, not anxiety about needing attention right this second.
Confidence in the work, not anxiety about the number.
That is the difference. That's a staged reveal versus a panic drop. A confident artist stages the reveal, trusting the quality will keep you interested.
And it positions him as a serious contender, not just a trend.
A very serious contender.
So the final takeaway for the listener, it's that Kid Trase is not chasing the spotlight. He is positioning himself so that when the spotlight finally lands on him in 2026 or whenever,
it sticks.
It sticks. This calculated restraint is exactly why you should keep his name on your radar. This feels like the start of something, not a flash in the pan.
It's a masterclass in strategic entry, really. Using silence and patience as your weapons.
Such a different way of thinking.
It is. Which leads me to a final thought for you to chew on.
Okay.
If the goal is truly long-term career building, not just chasing viral fame,
Yeah.
what current artist could benefit most from adopting this Kid Trase strategy?
Of restraint and calculated movement.
Right, instead of that instant saturation. Just something to consider as you listen to new music this week. Ask yourself, is this artist chasing or are they positioning?
A great thought to end on. And you can check out Slatt right now on Blaze It Up Radio.
Definitely do that.
Be sure to check us out on YouTube or anywhere you listen to your podcast. Be blessed.